Hello, everyone. Goldy's Closet episode now, part 2 of Jimmy John 247. I'm just so honored that you are all here. You know who you are. Thank you to all of the listeners who used to be with me on the Realm Network and on Channel Attitude and Russo's brand. I know some of you got a chance to meet him at the New York, New Jersey, whichever it was, some sort of convention, and I'm just so happy. Only the best vibes for Russo's brand. But how exciting that I'm on my own doing this with the help of some other friends. And I'm just excited to bring you some guests that, well, you know, we just always want to inspire and bring some light into your life and get you through your workday. So without further ado, here's part 2 of Jimmy John's interview. What a freaking privilege to have this guy on the show and just hear firsthand how somebody made it. Sending the best vibes. Stay safe out there, everyone, and always stay golden.
You know, I really learned the sandwich shop, and then students left, and everything just stopped. And I was sitting there, and I had all these ledgers that I had written all these checks for the food. You know, I had all these ledgers, and I looked in the ledger, and there was a column that said deposits and bank balance. I'm like, well, here I got all the deposits. I had $1,000 in the bank when I opened up, was my opening balance, and I had a stack of my deposit slips because I'm writing checks against this account for 5 months without even knowing a thing. I'm just writing checks, and then I realized that that the check amount was already written in there. It was the date to who it was, the description, and the check amount. I had the deposits in the beginning balance, and just with my own logic, I had a calculator. And I started with $1,000. I entered all the deposits into the ledger, and I subtracted the check, added the deposit, and I brought my ledgers up from January 13th to May 15th. I brought my bank balance. I had $18,000 in the bank, and I'm like, I'm a fucking millionaire. I had 18 grand. I started with $1,000, but
Dude.
imagine. And you can jump in whenever you want. But
no, I'm loving this.
Key point here was, had I not been an asshole boss and had those guys not quit, I don't know that I would have had the money to just pay for everything COD. So I got lucky that I was a shitty boss. Everybody quit. I had to do it myself. I wrote checks against this account, clueless about what was in the account. But from that day forward, once I got that bank balance up to date, I became an accountant master. I watched what made it go up, what made it go down. When I did payroll every 2 weeks, it made it go down. So I started squeezing the payroll, and I started being aware of how many paper towels we were using to wash the windows, how much Windex we were using. You know, I really started. So it was a blessing in disguise. So it's not a very complicated early story, but there's a lot of nuggets in there.
No, and you say pop too. I heard you, which I'm from Minnesota, so that was lovely to hear somebody. And Tupperware, that warmed my heart as well. Not a lot of people know plastic containers, storage containers are really called Tupperware. That's a beautiful story. I wish I could be a fly on the wall to see, like, when you were first starting, your mom gave you the spatula and all that. Was your dad present? Did he show up at the sandwich shop ever? Did he help you paint or do any construction, or did he kind of just leave you on your own? Or I just want to go back to that one more time before we exit to the next.
Yeah, no problem. You know what my dad helped me do? My dad helped me with the menu. He had a graphic designer in his office, and with the four sandwiches, he helped me sketch it out, and so that was super cool of him. He was supportive, but he was busy, so it was really all up to me. But he was 200 miles away. But he would pop in every now and then and see what was going on. And, but at the end of the first year, I did 150,000 in sales. My first year, we made 40 and split it. We did 180,000 in sales year 2 and made 50. I split it. And then I bought him out at about May of year 3. I bought him out for the original investment and 10% interest, which was compounded. I learned what compound interest was. And then I owned it myself from May of let's see, 83, 84. About May of 85, I bought my dad out and I owned it myself. So that's the story of how it got started. And then I saved up my money and I moved to another city and I opened another store in Macomb, Illinois, and replaced myself. And then I saved up my money in Macomb. I moved to Champaign, Illinois, got a third checkbook, opened up that store myself. And anyway, from 83 to 93, I moved to 10 cities. I opened up 10 stores. And in 1993, I finished that year. And my accountant told me, he says, Jimmy, you made $1 million this year. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, you made $1 million in profit. I said, so I have $1 million in the bank? He said, yeah, it's in the bank. You made $1 million. I said, so I'm a millionaire? He's like, yeah, you're a millionaire. I'm like, well, I'm a lonely, sweaty, salami smelling millionaire and whatever. I guess I'm a millionaire now. So, okay, what's next? So, yeah, that's how it all happened. And I became a millionaire. It was a byproduct of me just putting my head down and working my butt off and just being committed to making sure my sandwich customers were taken care of. And
That's
then,
huge.
and so yeah, so that's the story. So it wasn't, everybody thinks it was, hey, when did Jimmy John's just take off? Well, Jimmy John's took off in like, '05, and that was after 22 years of grind.
I was going to say, you said you opened when, and then 93, was it 10 years, 12 years that it took you to be a millionaire? Like, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
It doesn't happen. It's a long time of, like you said, when you go back to your early days of just working from 7:30 until 2:30.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. I wish the generation that's coming up right now would know the Chicago, Minnesota, Iowa, like just I mean, everybody's got their grind, but like there's a Midwest grind like nothing I've ever seen. And there's just there's no option to not fail. And because it's cold and because you're by the lakes, you just do it. Like it's a different grind. That's all I have to say. Midwestern people are a different breed. So I'm glad that you're in that club, because it just shows hard work and perseverance, where that takes you. Without going over too long on our time, when we talked, you said I sold my business and now I'm doing other things. I know you can't talk about everything, but can you allude to some sort of ventures that you're doing, or just we're excited for you.
Sure. Well, so just a quick wrap. 93 to '03, we opened 200 stores, and then '03 to '13, we opened 2,500 stores. So,
oh my God,
that was the journey of that. And then, so anyway, sold the business. I think it started probably around 2007, where we started making way more money than we could consume, and we had to figure out places to put it. And since I didn't know how to be an investor, what I did with my first large chunks of deployable capital is I bought farmland, I bought gold, and I bought municipal bonds, and that's what I did. And when the market crashed in '08, '09, '10, I looked like I was really smart, but I wasn't smart. I didn't know how to be an investor, so I just did what I knew, what to preserve the capital, and ended up being a smart investment. And so as that journey went on, the other businesses that we have, our family has ventured into is we're a large franchisee, or part of the largest franchisor of Applebee's, Arby's, Taco Bell's, and Pizza Huts. And so I think our group is, so I'm part of a group that and Panera's. So we operate restaurants. We're partners in some really wonderful hotels. The Madeline in Telluride, the Soul Lodge Resort in Calistoga, the Carneros Inn in Napa. So these are just properties that will forever just be, excellent properties. And we're also in the small hotel business. So whether it be Hampton Inn or Marriott Suites, we do a bunch of that. We have a couple of wineries that we are. I was a founding member of a Pinot brand called Cirque. That's I'm partnered with Michael Brown, who was the winemaker at Costa Brown. I'm a partner at a brand called Realm in Napa. We have an outdoor gear company that we invested in that's become very significant, called KUIU, and so we're just investors in all kinds of stuff. And what we really like to do is we like to invest in the jockey, not the horse. So what we find is there are people that tell stories and there are people that produce, and so we tend to want to invest in producers, not storytellers. And there's a lot of storytellers out there. So we also learned that it's really hard to make it, and it's 5 times harder to hold on to it. So we keep it very close to our chest. We look for opportunity. We want returns, but minimal, safe returns. And it's been a long journey. I would tell you that that being an investor is way harder than being a sandwich maker. And it requires a different brain. And so, for example, if you're a really good football player and you make yourself a fortune, there's no reason why you should be able to be an excellent investor. Or the fact that Michael Jordan has done what he's done is the guy is really a genius. He was one of the greatest sports players ever in the world, and now what he's done with his investments is nothing short of incredible. And I run into him, and I'm not a friend, but I've met him, and I admire him extraordinarily for what he's been able to do. So anyway, but we're in the construction business, and we're in the hotel business, and we're in the restaurant business, we're in the wine business. We're a big farm operation in Illinois, and not only crops, but also hardwood, veneer grade hardwood. We harvest predominantly walnut, which just ended up being a byproduct of having a whole lot of river bottom and property in Illinois. We had just discovered a massive trove of amazing veneer grade trees. So that's become a business for us. So yeah, but we just do. I only do businesses that I can understand, Goldie. If I can't understand it and it can't be explained to me on a single sheet of paper, I'm not interested. I don't like fancy words and fancy people. I like stuff that I can understand. You buy a bulldozer and you use it this many hours a month to utilize it, and it brings in this much income, and I know what it costs me, and I know what the depreciation is. And okay, I think I'll buy a bulldozer and I'll go in the bulldozer business. That I can understand that, but complicated stuff that I can't understand, I stay away from. So I don't know really how helpful I'm being for you.
What are you talking about? This is just like our people. This is going to totally light a fire under their butt. The last question I would ask you is, we talk about Michael Jordan and you admire him, and you're saying so many different companies that you're associated with or and partners with. How does somebody, in your words, is it just nut to butt? Is it handshakes? Like, how do you just meet all of these people? And when you meet somebody, did you just say, do you want to partner up with me? Or, hey, do you want to do this? Or, I only have my entertainment background to say when I've bumped into people, I would say, I love your work and I admire this about you. And if you ever want to do a collaboration, or could we do this together? And I have no, again, Midwest girl. My dad, it sounded like in different ways they were alike, but one of the things that my dad taught me, and I'll never forget it, Jimmy, it was at a pageant as a beauty queen, as I think I was 7 years old. And, there's two little things in there. And one was, there was this real ugly, disgusting clown, and he was moping around. He was asking all the little girls, not too creepy, for a kiss. And of course they're like, you. And I just remember he said, would you like a kiss, little girl? And I looked over to my dad, and my dad, he gave me a wink. And I was like, so I went like this, and I puckered up, and he pulled out a Hershey's Kiss and he gave it to me. And he said, thank you for not in an icky way. It was different back then, not like it is now. Thank you for trusting me. And that hit a nerve. It light bulb went out. Like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I should just give people a chance a little bit, or feel them out. Or like you said, I don't invest in anything I don't understand, or I can't figure out how it works. Where's my ROI? Boom, boom, boom. And the other thing my dad taught me is, and my birth name is Moon Shadow. He said, Moon, you should always never be afraid to ask anybody for anything, because the worst they can say is just tell you to go to hell. And he taught me that since I was 4 or 5 years old. And there's something when that's ingrained in you about what's the worst somebody can say, Jimmy, is no. So I ask a lot of people big, and I ask for a lot of things. How do you continue to grow and expand your business and your brands? Do you have an opening line? Do you ask a friend to introduce you? Like, how do you do that?
No, that's a really good question. I think it's really, really hard work. And when we outwork the competition at Jimmy John's. I'm not sure that my sandwiches were really that much better than everybody else's, but
Interesting point.
but they were consistent and they were fast. And
Mm.
just by being consistent and by being fast, we had a massive competitive advantage. So I think the same thing in the investment world. If you're consistent and you're fast and you can execute and you do your homework, and you make enough mistakes, you learn from those mistakes. You learn about and then it becomes a very, very small world. It's a very small world. And so I think that just like anything, um, when you have a reputation and you can write a check and
That's true.
that I guess it's to answer your questions, it's really, really, really hard to find the great stuff. If I could have changed the last 10 years, my family has 82 investments right now that's in our portfolio, and we have a family office, and we have about 10 people in our family office, and that run. I would have much rather have 8.2 investments that were 10 times larger than
Okay.
82 investments that are smaller. So what we're doing now is if we do one or two or three investments a year, that's fine. Instead of trying to do one a month, we'll do one or two bigger ones per year. And so it's really, really, really hard to find great product coupled with great people that are motivated to bring it home. I would say it's like putting together a football team and wanting to win a Super Bowl. I mean, go try it. You've got however many football teams there are, 26. I don't know how many there are, but you've got the smartest, most competitive gentlemen, predominantly gentlemen or gentlewomen in America that are the greatest competitors that we have in this country, competing to win that game of football and to get that Super Bowl trophy. Imagine how hard that is. I mean, those guys are already like the mega dudes that we have in America, and they're competing against each other. That's how hard it is to win. And if you want to win, get out there, get the best people, give them a piece of the deal, lead them by example, be the first one into battle, and go fucking kick ass and quit fucking around. And so, fuck your feelings and all that shit and go Donald Trump and go America and go Constitution. And that's what I could say, and go outwork everybody else and quit your bitching and get to work. This is a great country and there's great opportunity. And if you're willing to do it, gosh darn it, go do it and join the club. Is it uncomfortable? Yes. We make all this money because we're willing to be way more uncomfortable than anybody else is. There is no safe space when it's time to pay the bills. You got to pay them. So anyway, I'm just getting off on a tangent.
No, I love it. And it goes right back to what you were talking about, the hours that you worked the first time that everybody quit. And it just goes right back to that. Again, that you're preaching to the choir. Like I can't tell kids. So many kids will message me and they just want to know how I'm doing this, and this. And I'm like, get off your fucking ass. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Just go work.
Go.
There's some shift that happened about, I'm going to work smarter and not hard. Okay, well, great. Work smarter, but you're still going to have to fucking work. You're still going to have to put the hours in. So I love that. I'm going to include that sound bite. What you just said, it was perfect. We've gone over our 27 minutes. You are an absolute delight. Like, just wow. And I see you have a wedding ring. So finally when did you get married? I didn't even know you were married.
I'm very married. I'm married for 25 years last September 12th. So
Where did you
yeah,
meet your wife? Real quick before we leave, where did you meet your wife?
I met her at a food show at McCormick Place in Chicago in '97. She was working for Wells Blue Bunny Ice Cream, and I invited her out. We took her to a Bulls game when Michael Jordan was playing. And after you could get a Mai Tai for an extra $1, you could get a floater of Myers rum on top. And so after 2 of those Mai Tais, I was irresistible. I got the hand on the knee, and that was it.
I freaking love it. Goldy's Closet episode 246. We can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy day and schedule and life just to join us for this awesome conversation with Jimmy John. Very inspiring. A lot of nuggets in there. Everyone stay safe out there, but be free and always stay golden. And then we clap at the end, Jimmy. Yay! Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sweetheart. What's up, everyone? It's Goldy, Impact Wrestling, TLC's Cheapskates. Ted Nugent's running wild from him somewhere in the woods. And maybe you've seen our band, Goldilocks Band. We're out there, we're on tour, but now we're connecting on Cameo. So I want to tell you that I am here to be your humble servant, and that's whatever you need said for you, for a friend, a shout out, a golden shout out, you name it, here and on it. Now, just reminding you, keep it classy, keep it cool, and keep it above the belt. But I want to offer you something a little bit different. Just remember, if I'm not on the road and I've got access to these next beauties, we can always have. Da-da-da-dum. I want to make this the most amazing experience for you ever, because you deserve it. Your friends deserve it. Your loved ones deserve it. And just remember, I can sing you a few lines of a song. It can be from anywhere, like it can be from somewhere over the rainbow, or it could be near, far, wherever you are. It could even be on a highway to hell. It can even be from there. Oh, and keep in mind, not all requests are the same. Maybe your motivation comes with a harder edge. Maybe you need a more jagged little pill. There's nothing that I love more than playing the heel. So if you need your message delivered with more, what's the word I'm looking for? Intention? Please specify. Can't wait to connect with you on Cameo. Thanks so much for being here. Stay golden.